To identify the mode, so the formula is slightly changed. Carl Pearson, okay, 3 into mean minus median divided by standard deviation. We need to remove the square root. So finally our standard deviation we are getting 11.39. So once we get whatever it is required for the formula, now we can go for applying. According to standard deviation formula, standard deviation is required x square. So that's what x value I just want to take the square root. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Natesh, lecturer in commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. So we are in the Unit 2, Section 6, third semester BCom, Measures of Variation and Skewness. The Session 1 to Session 5, which is related to measure of variance. Okay, and even the last session I have discussed which is related to the skewness introduction. How many types of skewness, why the skewness is we are using. Okay, today my agenda, under skewness you will get to know the meaning and formula. Okay, and we are using a Carl Pearson coefficient of skewness. What is exactly skewness? See, when it is looking like a graph, okay, so which is equally dividing 0.5 for left side, right side also you are getting, which is nothing but perfectly skewed. Okay, in case of negative and positive, okay, this type of graph, when you are able to identify, then you have to identify the skewness why we are using. So which is showing a direction, the graph is which is left side or right side. So here see the measure of skewness give with the direction and amount of asymmetric in a distribution. Asymmetric means left and right side when it is not equal, okay, either it is going for right direction, either it is going for left direction. That's what we can say it is a symmetric. We have two measures of skewness, namely absolute and relative, but in case of absolute we are just writing x bar minus z, okay, when we are just considering a numerator. Okay, so here in today's classes, my focus is only for Carl Pearson measure of skewness. Why the skewness? Why we are using skewness with the help of Carl Pearson? So here, absolute means we are writing x bar minus z, but relative case completely we are depending the formula. Okay, so there are two situations is given. If the mode is defined, okay, in the set of data, whatever it is given, if you are able to identify the mode value, so which is completely, we are using this formula. In case, if the mode is cannot be determined, then use this formula. Okay, symbolically, S stand for skewness, K stand for Carl Pearson. Okay, now mean x bar minus mode divided by standard deviation. When you are able to identify the mode value. In case if you are not able to identify the mode, so we are applying this formula 3 into mean minus median divided by standard deviation. I'm just explaining here the Carl Pearson, which is completely depending on the measure of central tendency. So in the measure of central tendency, here the standard deviation which is coming under the measure of dispersion. Whatever the formula is having, the completely which is depending on the mean formula basis only. So that's what the standard deviation, the Carl Pearson measure of skewness, when you are trying to solve this problem, we are depending almost to average basis only. Moving forward, so the set of data, when you are starting a problem, you need to identify which type of data is given in the question. Okay, either discrete group or ungrouped data and continuous data. Okay, here there are three steps you have to follow. So first one, according to formula, Carl Pearson of skewness is equal to x bar minus z divided by standard deviation. So here in this formula we are applying only mode is we are able to identify. In case if you are not able to identify the mode, so the formula is slightly changed. Carl Pearson, okay, 3 into mean minus median divided by standard deviation. So in this formula, whatever it is required, the step 1 we need to find out. So just with the help of formula, we need to find x bar value. Okay, so in case of discrete ungrouped data, x bar formula sigma x divided by n. Okay, in case of group data, if it is given sigma fx divided by capital letter N. Either you are doing a direct method or step deviation method. These following steps I have completely covered in the first unit, measure of central tendency. So according to formula, you need to follow these steps which is related to measure of central tendency, even the standard deviation, measure of variance. Okay, so according to formula, according to data set what they are providing, so you need to identify properly which formula is applicable out of two formula. Now second one, apply the formula. Again one more time I am repeating. If the mode is determined, then use this formula. Mode in the set of data, if you are able to identify mode, of course the set of data you are able to identify mean, because X series, okay, even the standard deviation also you are able to identify. So in case of mode only we need to identify in the discrete ungrouped data. Okay, so if the mode cannot be determined, then use this formula. Okay. So last one, after simplifying this formula, either you're getting positive or negative, okay, or equally zero you're getting. Now equally zero means symmetric, okay, which is not equally minus sign or plus sign you're getting means which is asymmetric, okay. So left side and right side. Comment the above formula, positive skew or negative skew or skewed distribution. Okay, skewed means zero, equally zero. Moving forward, there is one question for understanding. Now, see, from the following data given marks scored by the 8th student. 8th student, whatever it is given, now small letter n is equal to 8. Okay, now I am writing one more time the formula. Actually, what they are asking, you need to identify. 8th student in the class, calculate Carl-Pearson coefficient of skewness for the distribution. So the marks is given 67, so which is given in the horizontal format. Now we need to construct the table, because here the formula x bar minus mode divided by standard deviation. Now you need to check. I can find the x bar value because x series, whatever the data is given x series, the formula is sigma x divided by small letter n. I can find out the x bar value. In case of mode, which is looking like a discrete ungrouped data, now you need to check. One more time I am writing vertical format. 67 is not repeated, 76 is not repeated, 82 is not repeated, 44 is not repeated, 60 also not repeated, 71 is not repeated, 54 not repeated, and 66 is not repeated. So this formula is not advisable. This formula, now you need to depend on this formula. Okay, so 3 into x bar minus median divided by small letter divided by standard deviation. Okay, so according to formula I need to find out x bar and median and standard deviation. That's what. So this one is a mode is not able to identify. It is a hill defined problem. Okay, mode when you are not able to identify the mode value, so which is a hill defined problem. So now whatever the horizontal data is given, I am writing, just I am considering it, which is a x series data. Okay, now according to x bar formula, sigma x divided by n, if you take together you are getting 520 x bar. Number of items is which is clearly specified 8 student. If you count here 8 student. Okay, so now which is left now median. Okay, so median you need to follow the certain steps. So see, I have clearly specified. In case of x bar, mode, standard deviation, median, following steps related to in the first unit, what and all the steps you followed in case of discrete, ungroup or group or continuous data, the same procedure, same steps you need to follow to find out the, so whatever which is required to formula. For that reason, now why I took first x square? Because the standard deviation formula root inside sigma x square is required divided by n. Okay, and sigma x divided by n to the power of square is there. So that's what I did for x square using x value. Just 67 into 67, 44. Okay, 76 into 76, 5726. Like this you need to take the square root for all. Okay, now you take according to formula sigma x square is required. That's what I took the total. I got 34,838. Okay, now why this one arranging an ascending order is required? Because in the median case, okay, in the median case we need to follow the steps. The first step is arranging the ascending order. Okay, now you need to apply the formula in the next slide, which is we are applying the formula. So now whatever the data set is given, first step I need to follow for median, arranging a ascending order. Okay, now after arranging ascending order, I just want to give rank. Okay, 1 to each student rank. Okay, now simple formula for median, in case of discrete ungrouped data, median is equal to small letter n plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, number of items 8 plus 1 divided by 2. Now you are getting 9 by 2, which is nothing but 4.5. Now 4.5, see in between 4 and 5, so the median is located. That's what we need to take this total divided by 2. Moving forward, see the formula whatever it is there in the question. So we are using this formula. According to this formula, we got all the value. One more time, we got sigma x value 520. 520 divided by n plus 8. 520 divided by 8, if you simplify, you are getting 65. Okay, according to formula x bar v value, we got 65. Second one, we need to find out median. So median formula I have written n plus 1 divided by, in case of discrete ungrouped data. Okay, 8 numbers is given, d plus 1 divided by 2, 9 by 2, if you simplify, you are getting 4.5. 4.5, you need to observe fourth value 66, fifth value 67. Okay, fourth value, fifth value divided, take the total divided by 2. If you do 66.5, which is nothing but your median value. Now according to this formula, we need to find out standard deviation. The standard deviation formula is nothing here. Sigma x square is required. That's what I have constructed table. Okay, now we got 34,838. This place we are writing 30, this value. N plus number of items 8. So sigma x we got already 520 divided by n plus I am writing to take the square root. One by one step. First I want to remove the square root. Now you can divide here. So after dividing 34,838 divided by 8, we are getting 4,354.75. Okay, now if you simplify, divide 520 divided by 8, you are getting 65. Take the square root. So that's what I am extending one more steps. The same thing what we got, we are writing as it is. Now first we need to remove the square root. So after remove the square root, we are getting 4,225. Okay, now we need to subtract. After subtraction, we are getting 129.75. So after getting this value, we need to remove the square root. So finally, our standard deviation, we are getting 11.39. So once we get whatever it is required for the formula, now we can go for applying. So here I clearly specified if mode is ill-defined, so that we are applying this formula. Now we need to simplify this formula according to whatever the formula it's there. 3 plus as it is I am writing x bar plus 65 minus sign, median we got 66.5 divided by standard deviation we got 11.39. Okay, now first you have to subtract this one. Okay, 3 as it is I am writing. Okay, 65 minus 66.5. So I am getting minus 1.5. Okay, the standard deviation denominator whatever it is there I am writing as it is. Now I just want to simplify the numerator. So after multiply you are getting minus 4.5. So divided by 11.39 as it is the denominator I am writing. Now if you divide, I am getting negative minus 0.39. Okay, now this second step is completed. Now third step you are writing comment. Okay, so thus coefficient of skewness is negative. Therefore, the distribution is negative. I hope you understood. Moving forward, second question. From the data, calculate Carl Pearson coefficient of skewness. Okay, now X series is given, marks is given 12, 15, 20, 10, 30, 20, 10, 20. Now which number is repeated more number of times? So here in this case the 20 is repeated 3 times. So we can say, so mode is 20. Okay, now which formula is required? So the Coefficient of skewness is equal to, okay, x bar minus mode divided by standard deviation. Using this set of data we can find out x bar. Okay, using this set of data we can identify the mode. 20 is 3 times is repeated, okay, in case of discrete ungrouped data. Using this set of data we can find out standard deviation, because the formula whatever it is there, which is completely depending on the x series of data. So that's what we need to construct the table. Okay, the x series horizontal I am writing for vertical. Okay, so here x bar formula we need to find out. X bar formula sigma x divided by small letter n. So how many numbers of item you have to count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. N plus we are writing 8. Okay. Now according to standard deviation formula, standard deviation is required x square. So that's what x value I just want to take the square root. 12 into 12, 144, 15 into 15, 225. So if you take all the square root, you finally, after getting the square root, now you have to take the summation. 2669 we are getting. So now finally we can simplify this formula one by one. Okay, so according to formula basis only we are depending. X bar we need to first find out, and mode also we need to find out. So using a standard deviation formula based on the steps you whatever you followed, okay, in the previous section, the same procedure, same steps you need to follow. Okay, so the standard deviation sigma x square place I am writing 2669, n plus writing number of items 8, minus sign as it is. Sigma x we got already total 137. 137 divided by 8, take the square root, and one more step. Now if you divide, you are getting 333.625. Okay, now if you divide 137 divided by 8, you are getting 17.125. Take the square root first, as it is I am writing this value. Okay, if you take the square root, you are getting 293.265. Okay, now you need to subtract. From this value you need to subtract. Now after subtracting you are getting 40.36. Remove the square root, the standard deviations value we are getting 6.35. Okay, now we got x bar value according to formula. Now we have identified 20 is a mode. Even the standard deviation we got 6.35. Now we need to simplify this formula. Now I have written one more time the formula. X bar place we are getting 17.125, mode place 20, standard deviation place 6.35. So as it is I am writing. Now we need to simplify one by one. Okay, from this x bar value I need to subtract mode value. Okay, after subtraction I am getting minus 2.875. The standard deviation as it is I am writing, because I have simplified first numerator. Okay, so now you need to divide. So after dividing I am getting minus 0.45. Okay, now second step is completed. Now third step is a comment. Seeing the value we can identify this is you are getting a negative value. That's what we are writing comments. Thus coefficient of skewness is negative, therefore the distribution is also negative. Okay, moving forward, there is one more questions. Calculate Coefficient coefficient of skewness. Okay, now this data here mark score is you can identify which is x series. Okay, number of student you can identify which is a frequency. Now which is looking like a discrete group data. According to group data, easily we can identify whatever it is required. Okay, when it is group data or discrete data, which formula will suitable, you need to identify. Now in this two set of data, easily we can identify x bar value sigma fx divided by n. Okay, and mode from the highest frequency corresponding x value, we easily you can identify, mode also you can identify. Even with the help of two marks code and student number of student, we can identify standard deviation. So the best formula is skewness, Carl Pearson skewness x bar minus mode divided by standard deviation, because in this formula whatever it is there, we can get all this value. Okay, so that's what, as it is I am writing vertical format. Okay, x series marks code I am writing x series, number of student I am writing frequency. Okay, now according to x bar formula I just want to get fx, that's what I am constructing one more column. So f into x, 2 into 4 8, 5 into 4 20, 6 into 8 48, 7 into 8 is 56, 10 into 1 10. Now if you take the total, you are getting 142. Okay, now I am writing here 142 divided by, now frequency total, which is nothing but capital letter means frequency total, we are getting 25. Now after getting this fx value, now we need to find out the mode value, because the formula is having a mode, right? So highest frequency, from the frequency highest frequency 8, corresponding x value 6, your mode is your nothing but 6. Okay, mode is 6. Now according to formula standard deviation is required. Okay, now standard deviation formula you have to write sigma x square divided by capital letter N. Okay, fx. Okay, minus sigma fx divided by capital letter N to the power of square, because in case of discrete group data which is given, slight modification is required. Sigma x square plus we are writing sigma fx square. Okay, sigma x plus we are writing sigma fx. Okay, according to formula whatever it is required, I just want to construct the table. Okay, fx value we got. Now x value how we are getting? Here see the x value, x into x, 2 into 2 4, 4 into 4 16. Okay, and 6 into 6 36, 8 into 8 64, 10 into 10 100. Now this total we don't want, because the formula which is depending on fx square, that's what I just want to multiply with the frequency. After getting the x square, 4 into 4 16, 16 into 5 80, 36 into 8 288, 64 into 7 448, 100 into 1 100. Now according to this formula we need to get the summation value. Okay, after adding together we are getting 932. Okay, so now why cumulative frequency is required? Cumulative frequency, we are not depending for cumulative frequency. In case I have converted this cumulative frequency, in case if you are not able to identify this formula mode, you are not able to identify, obviously we need to depend on the median. So that's what I have constructed, but which is just for ignore. Okay, so just for your understanding I have converted. How we converted? The first frequency 4 as it is, 4 plus 5 9, 9 plus 8, which is no use here because this formula we can completely we are getting, but just for your understanding I have converted for cumulative frequency. Okay, according to this formula whatever it is there, we need to find out one by one whatever the steps we followed when we are doing a problem in this measure of central tendency. So the same step, the formula is very standard. So x bar formula sigma fx divided by n. So we got already the value, sigma fx value 142, because in the last slide. So after taking this total, now we are simplifying this formula. Frequency total we are getting 25. If you simplify divide, you are getting 5.68. In this formula we need to get a mode value. So easily we can identify in the frequency, yes, frequencies are 8. So the corresponding x value is 6. So the mode is identified 6 in case of a discrete group data. Now this formula having standard deviation. So the standard deviation formula, you are writing this formula, standard deviation formula is sigma fx square divided by n minus sigma fx divided by n to the power of square root. Now we need to simplify one by one. Sigma fx square we got in the last slide. 932 divided by n plus we are writing 25. Okay, minus sign as it is. Sigma fx already it's there, x bar formula is very, so that's what which is looking like a average formula, mean value whatever it is the same thing, but only we constructed this table. Okay, sigma x square we are getting 932 n divided by n plus I am writing 25. So now minus n as it is, sigma fx divided by n. Sigma fx we got 142 divided by 25 to the power of square. Now one more time, the first one we need to simplify one by one. So if you divide 932 divided by 25, we are getting 37.28. Now if you divide 142 divided by 25, we are getting 5.68 to the power of square to as it is I am writing. And next time the same thing I am writing 37.38 because I just want to remove the square root. So that's what after take the square root you are getting 32.26. Now you need to subtract. After subtracting we are getting 5.02. Okay, so now if you remove the square root we are getting standard deviation for value 2.24. Okay, so after getting according to formula whatever it is required we got, finally we got. Now we are simplifying. X bar formula, x bar place I am writing 5.68. Okay, minus sign as it is. Mode we got a 6. Okay, standard deviation we got 2.24. Now you need to subtract first. Okay, after subtraction numerator we are getting minus 0.32, denominator as it is I am writing. Now if I want to divide, after dividing I am getting minus sign 0.14. Okay, so seeing the value we can identify which is a negative. So that now third step we need to go for comment. The coefficient of skewness is negative, therefore the distribution is also negative. Okay, moving forward. So there is one more questions. Calculate Colpearson coefficient of skewness. Okay, marks code. Okay, now seeing the data set only we can identify this data is looking like a continuous series because lower limit and upper limit classes will be given. So here X series is missing, we need to find out number of student which is nothing but this one is a class interval. Okay, now this one is your frequency is given in the question. Okay, so the frequency is given. Now as it is I am writing in the vertical format. So the first class 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. Okay, now the complete formula is depending on x value. X is here nothing but your midpoint value. Okay, so with the help of class interval we are just identifying the x value. The frequency which is nothing but total, if you are taking the frequency total n is equal to 22 you are getting. Okay, so in this class interval we are finding x value. X value is nothing but your midpoint. The midpoint formula is lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. So lower limit 0 plus 10 divided by 2, 5 we are getting x first class. Second class we are getting 15. How we are getting? 10 plus 20, 30, 30 divided by 2, 15. Like this, after getting this x value, okay, now you have to observe very carefully whatever it is required in this formula. Now here x bar value, how we are getting? The formula sigma fx divided by n. So in the numerator we need to get a fx value. So that's what we need to multiplying the respected x and frequency. Okay, respected frequency. 5 into 1, 5. 15 into 5, 75, 25 into 8, 200, 35 into 4, 140, 45 into 4, 180. Now this formula is having a sigma. Now you need to take this total. After taking this total sigma fx value we are getting 600. So that the x bar formula sigma fx divided by n. Sigma fx value I am writing 600 numerator. Denominator the frequency total 22. If you simplify the x bar value 27.28. Okay. Now again we need to identify mode. How we are identifying mode? Now when you are identifying a mode with the help of continuous series, okay, of course The highest frequency we are call it as F1. The previous frequency we are call it as F0. The post frequency we call it as an F2. Something you have to apply for the continuous series mode formula. Okay. Now, after getting this fx value, because in the formula we need to get standard deviation. The standard deviation formula inside the square root sigma fx square divided by capital letter N minus sigma fx divided by capital letter N to the power of square. Because the formula basis only we are constructing the table. First we need to get the x square. Okay. How we can get the fx? Here already fx we are getting. Okay. Now x square also you can take. Fx into x also 25. Fx 5 into 5 we are getting 25. Or if you are try to do for x into x 25. The both are same only. Here fx we are getting fx square. Fx already we have. If you multiply with the respected x, we are getting the fx square. Okay, directly we can do. But we are depending on x square value because the formula is having a x square. After getting x square also simultaneously we can multiply with the respected frequency. That is also okay. So x into x square. 15 into 15, 225, 25 into 25, 600. Like this now once you get the x square value, now we need to multiply with the frequency because the formula is having a fx square. Now after getting x square, we are multiplying with the frequency. 25 into 1, 25. 225 into 5, we are getting 1125. Okay, now 625 into 8 if you multiply 5000. Like this, after taking this all value, now you need to take the summation. If you take the summation of this value, you are getting 19,150. Okay, so I have written, because for the mode reason only I have written from the highest frequency F1, previous frequency F0, post frequency F2. Okay, now moving forward, according to this formula we got x bar value 27.28. now we need to get x bar standard deviation formula. I am just writing here sigma Calpius and skewness formula x bar minus mode divided by standard deviation. We got x bar value, we got 27.28. 27.28. Okay, now mode we need to find out. Okay, so mode formula, because continuous series always this formula is suitable. So according to this formula we already located the value. Okay, f1 place 8 highest frequency, f0 place previous frequency 5, f2 place post frequency 4. Okay, now in this formula is having z is equal to lower limit plus f1 into c, each class width. Lower limit value from the highest frequency we need to observe. From the highest frequency lower limit is 20. C stand for class width. Each class having a 10-10 difference. Okay, 10-10 difference. Now whatever the formula is having, we got the value. Now we need to simplify. Okay, so L plus we are writing 20. Okay, plus sign as it is. F1 minus F0. Okay, F1 minus F0. So F1 plus 8 minus F0 plus 5. Okay, and the same thing numerator whatever it is there which is applicable for the denominator also. So same thing I am writing. So one next, after writing now the formula is having plus. Okay, now F1 plus 8. Okay, minus sign minus. F2 place we are getting 4. So the 4. C place I am writing 10. Now you have to simplify one by one step. Now 20 as it is. The first one denominator, numerator we are simplifying. Okay, 20 as it is I am writing 8 minus 5, 3. Okay, 8 minus 5, denominator 3. Plus sign as it is, 8 minus 4, 4. Okay, C place I am writing 10 as it is. Now I just want to simplify this one. Okay, directly we can 20 I am writing a lower limit as it is. 3 into 10, 30. 3 plus 4, 7. Now I just want to simplify this one. The 20 as it is I am writing. 30 divided by 7. I am getting 4.28. Now after taking this total, the mode value 24.28. Okay, the mode also we got to 24.28. We are getting mode value. Now we need to depend which formula we need to apply, standard deviation formula, because we got x bar value and mode value. Using the respected formula, we need to get the value for standard deviation. The formula already in the previous problem, you got to clear idea about the formula. Standard deviation sigma fx, we got already the 19,150. The n total is 22, the frequency total 22. So minus sign as it is, sigma fx 600 divided by n, which is nothing but a mean formula directly. Now we need to take the square root. Okay. Now we need to divide 19,150 divided by 22. If you divide, you are getting 870.45. Okay, as it is minus sign. Now if you simplify, you are getting 27.27. Take the square root. Now you have to take the square root. As it is, I am writing this value. Minus sign as it is, I am writing. Now if you take the square root, 743.65. Now you need to subtract. We are getting 126.8. If you remove the square root, the standard deviation we are getting 11.26. According to formula, we got x bar and mode value, even the standard deviation. Now we are just writing, simplifying the formula. X bar value we got, mode value we got, and standard deviation. First numerator. From this, if you subtract, you are getting 3. As it is, I am getting 11.26. Okay, you have to divide, you are getting 0.267. Okay, so now the second step is completed for Carl Pearson. Now third step is the comment writing. Now this value is looking like a positive. Okay, so thus the coefficient of skewness is positive, therefore the distribution also positive. Keep on watch for next section. Thank you.